Hi, I'm Rachel. Welcome to PM Reality. If you've ever walked out of a meeting where everyone agreed and a week later nothing actually moved, this video is for you. And before we go any further, I want to say this clearly. This situation does not mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're not good at your job, and it definitely doesn't mean you're not cut out to be a project manager. But I know it feels personal. You prepared for that meeting. You gathered the context. You walked everyone through the plan. People nodded. Some even said, "Yes, that makes sense." And then, nothing. No follow-ups, no progress, no action. Just silence. If you're early in your project management career, this moment can really mess with your confidence. Because no one tells you what to do when this happens. They just expect you to somehow handle it. So you replay the meeting in your head. You think, maybe I wasn't clear enough. Maybe I should have pushed harder. Maybe I should have sounded more confident. Maybe I need to be more assertive. And slowly, without noticing, you start blaming yourself. But here's the truth most people won't say out loud. What happened in that meeting is not a communication failure. It's not a leadership failure. And it's not a personality issue. It's a decision problem. Because agreement is not the same thing as a decision. Agreement is emotional. It's social. It's comfortable. A decision is different. A decision creates commitment. A decision creates ownership. A decision creates consequences. In a lot of project meetings, people agree because it feels easier than not agreeing. They don't want to slow things down. They don't want to sound difficult. They don't want to be the one who asks the uncomfortable question. So they nod. They say yes. They stay quiet. And from the outside, it looks like alignment. But alignment without commitment is just noise. This is why so many projects get stuck in this weird space where everyone is on board, but nothing actually moves forward. And this pattern shows up all the time when you manage without real authority. When you don't formally own the resources, when people don't report to you, when decisions technically belong to someone else. In those situations, meetings often become a place where things are discussed, but never truly decided. You leave the room thinking something was agreed on. Others leave thinking, we talked about it, but nothing is final. No one is malicious. No one is trying to sabotage you. They're just operating in ambiguity. And ambiguity feels safe. Until it doesn't. Because ambiguity has a cost. It creates delays. It creates rework. It creates frustration. And eventually, it creates burnout, especially for the project manager holding everything together. Here's the part that's really important to understand. Most projects don't fail loudly. They fail quietly. They fail one unclear meeting at a time. One unowned decision at a time. One, let's revisit this later at a time. And as a project manager, you're usually the first one to feel it, even though you're the last one anyone points to when things are unclear. So let me give you a simple test. After any meeting, ask yourself this. Can I answer clearly and confidently who owns what happens next, and by when? Not in general. Not the team. Not we'll figure it out. One person. One next step. One point in time. If you can't answer that question immediately, then no real decision was made. And this is where a lot of early career project managers get stuck. Because they think their job is to keep things friendly, to keep momentum, to avoid tension. But clarity creates momentum. And a little tension now prevents a lot of pain later. This doesn't mean you need to be aggressive, and it doesn't mean you need to suddenly act like you have authority you don't have. It means you need to start naming reality. Instead of saying, so we're aligned, you say, just to be clear, the decision is X. Instead of saying, we'll follow up, you say, who owns the next step? Instead of saying, let's see how it goes, you say, what happens next and when do we review it? These are small shifts, but they change everything. Because once a decision is named, it becomes visible. Once ownership is named, accountability exists. Once the next step is named, progress can happen. And if someone pushes back, that's not a failure. That's actually success. Because disagreement in the meeting is cheaper than confusion afterward. Let me say that again because it matters. Disagreement in the meeting is cheaper than confusion afterward. If someone says, "I'm not ready to commit to this," that's not a problem. That's information. If someone says, "I don't agree with this direction," that's not resistance. That's clarity. What hurts projects is when none of that gets said out loud and everything stays implied. So if you've been in meetings where everyone agrees and nothing happens, please don't take that as a sign that you're failing. Take it as a sign that you're working inside a system that confuses agreement with decision-making. And systems can be changed, one moment at a time. This exact pattern is one of the most common realities of project management. And once you start noticing it, you'll see it everywhere. The good news is that you don't need permission to create clarity. You don't need a title upgrade, and you don't need to become someone you're not. You just need to start making the invisible visible. I've prepared a small kit to help you do exactly that. You'll find the details below. Thanks for being here. This is PM Reality. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something practical. I put together a small PM emergency kit for moments like this, when meetings go in circles, when decisions feel blurry, and when you need to bring clarity back into the room fast. It includes simple decision prompts and 2 kickoff templates, one for agile projects and one for more traditional project setups. They're not about planning everything up front. They're about helping people see the situation clearly enough to decide. You can download everything for free. The link is in the description below. Use it when things feel stuck. That's exactly what it's for.